Alrighty, it is December the 16th, 2016. We're looking at the November jobs numbers. It's our monthly chat with Parker Harvey. He says my connection is weak. Well, it's just gonna have to be.
Sure. I mean, if it's a function of where we are in the building, I mean, we can try to shift around a little bit, maybe next room over or something, if you think we might be able to get a stronger signal.
I think now. Oh, now it says it's gone. I had to get it connected right to the. Stupid thing. Now come on now. Behave. There we go. Okay, and we're back. Right before right prior to when we got cut off, I was asking about whether the construction industry, what was the cause of that slowdown?
Well, honestly, it's probably more a function of the fact that we're, again, getting towards the end of this construction boom that we've seen over the last few years. I mean, we typically do see job losses in construction in the month of November, so that's pretty normal, but the magnitude of this month's job losses were more than we would have expected.
And did we see anything specific in the oil? That's kind of been on the minds of everyone lately, the oil and gas industry. What did we see there?
Well, mining and logging did show a positive gain of 800 jobs this month. It's sort of difficult to attribute what part of oil and gas that came from because of some things that are going on with the numbers. But nonetheless, though, if we look at things year over year, we're still seeing a bottom that took place, say, over the summer and a recovery, hopefully getting us back to, at the very least, flat job growth year over year by, say, maybe middle of next year, and hopefully positive growth after that, maybe recovering some of those jobs we've lost over the last couple of years.
Did we see any revisions in employment from the October report?
We did. So the top line number was also revised. Construction was also revised upward quite sharply. And that's just a function of the fact that it's a very volatile sort of sector for counting jobs. Obviously, people move on and off of payrolls pretty quickly. And so things like that will happen. But nonetheless, if we look at year-over-year momentum in construction, unfortunately, it is pointing downward for the foreseeable future.
Pointing downward, so you're not expecting to see any assist in the jobs numbers from the cut in oil production from the OPEC nations?
Well, we might, though, but that'll likely show up in mining and logging, professional business services, the consulting services that go towards oil and gas, as well as manufacturing. Again, we are seeing a turnaround in all three of those things. Those things began back in summer, actually when the rig count bottomed, really at around 400 rigs or so. So between that plus the OPEC deal, we probably will see something approaching flat growth by the middle of next year, I would hope.
And we saw the main leaders for the November jobs was in the retail sector, which is expected with holiday hiring. But we also saw some strong growth in the leisure and hospitality section. What was that based on, do you think?
That was almost entirely driven by food and drinking establishments, which is not really surprising. In the last, we'll say 8 to 9 years or so, November's been a pretty good month for that part of our economy. I will say that we haven't seen much in the way of accommodation, i.e. hotels. We haven't seen much of an uptick there. However, with the Super Bowl looming in the next couple of months here, I would expect to see that change as well.
And so with the Super Bowl, are you expecting some volatility in the job market between December and, say, March?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that the job numbers are almost categorically negative in January for various technical reasons. I would expect, though, to see some of that leisure and hospitality, those jobs, be carried through the holiday season and into early spring with the Super Bowl, as well as some retail, probably not quite as much, but it would make sense that the Super Bowl effect would affect those two parts of our economy.
And what about accommodations on the hospitality
side?
side?
Absolutely. Accommodations, I would definitely expect to see an uptick that's detectable going forward here, but currently, right now, we're just not seeing it, but it's probably a bit early.
All right. Any other takeaways from the report?
Not particularly. Again, our big three show continued signs of having found a bottom earlier this year with the turnaround ahead of us. That's been reiterated by some of our other economists here locally, forecasting maybe job growth of, say, maybe 25, 30,000 jobs by the end of next year. And I'm in agreement that we could easily see that given the trajectory that we're currently on.
All right. All right, well, that'll conclude our chat this month, and we will be back next month. If you have any questions, feel free to post them to the Facebook post that this is video will replay on, or tweet them to Parker at WorkforceEcon, and we'll try and get some answers for you. Thank you, Parker.
Thank you.